Hello, it's Nancy today. I'm going to show you how to make some apple slices in, I guess they're kind of apple turnovers. My kids have always loved them. It's like a little apple pie without the trouble of having a crust and then the apples in another crust and the whole thing baking in the oven. Okay, I'll show you how I do it. First, we'll take a whatever that's called, cookie pan. Okay, now I made some pie crust. This is way too much for what I need to do, so I'll just take some of it. I'm leaving the flour on the pan because I don't want things to stick. But I'm not going to leave all that flour on the pan. I'm just going to sprinkle it around on the pan, then I'll put it back in the bowl. Okay, now let's take our crust, and what we're going to do here and these can be as small or as big as you like. Smaller is actually better. You can make them the size to give to your children in their lunches if you wish. That's what I always did. They got one of these little pies. Now this is, of course, too big for that. This is going to be a few pies. These little kind of pies. Okay, so there it's rolled out. Oopsie. A little bit sticky there. Oh, I'm using whole wheat flour, by the way, just because I felt like it. Okay, so now we've got that. Now what we do is we cut up some apples. Now you can take your apples and, if you wish, I might put you down there further. Hold on. Okay, there you go. You can take your apples, and if they're a cooking apple, you can likely leave the skins on and they will disappear. But you can also take them off, depending on your children and your choices. Okay, so you can fill this with apple pieces. I'm going to leave the skins on because I don't mind the skins and because I want to hurry up and show it to you. Okay, now you want to leave a bit of room around the edge because you're going to wet that, and then you're going to turn over your pie crust and stick it to it. Stick it to it. Okay, then when you've got enough apples, that's not enough apples. Most people like to have lots of apples in them. These apples are grown in a local place that are not sprayed, so I don't have to worry about the skin. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is put some cinnamon on it. Now, I took sugar and I shook some cinnamon in it, and then I shook it around until it turned about that color. So I put a little sugar in, and then I put a little cinnamon, and then I put a little sugar and a little cinnamon, and I kept doing it. So I have a nice mix there. So I'm just going to cover it with my cinnamon sugar. You may think that's too much. Now, let's make it all the way along here. I'm making a long one this time, okay? We could put this one in too. Now see how fast this is? Put a little more cinnamon sugar on it. You don't have to use cinnamon sugar if you want. You can have it plain. Okay, so what you do then, I have too much apples in there. You see that? That's sad. I'll have to put them in there to use next time. Okay, now we take some water and we wet the sides. Okay, and then we just turn it over and we pinch it down onto that side where which we have just wet. Okay? You can slip this into the center if you find that it's important to you. Now you can put some more sugar on the outside if you feel like that. Okay? Now you pop this into the oven, and let me get you back up here. Okay, you put this in your oven and you cook it until it gets light brown, or until you see until the apple stuff starts bubbling out. Now let's see if this one is done. I already did one, and you know how they do it on television where they take one out and put one in and it's just perfect. Okay. Now see what it looks like here? This could be cooked a little longer, but it is pretty nice, and you can just check on the apples on the inside. But when it's pretty runny like that, you know that things have melted right down. And this makes a wonderful snack for the kids. They just love it. It's a little apple pie, and it's so simple. You can make a whole bunch of small ones, make like 10 little small ones with an apple in each one. So simple. Okay, Nancy today, another tip. Hope you like it.